On this episode of the Second Swing Thoughts podcast, we break down the latest on the PGA Tour. Just wrapped up the RSM Classic. Some big implications there, both in terms of the winner, but also solidifying top 125 status on the PGA Tour for 2025. We look at some of the best holiday gifts available at Second Swing. And then, of course, at the end of the episode, we're going to talk about our favorite things in golf that we're thankful for during, of course, Thanksgiving week here. So stay tuned for an awesome episode of Second Swing Thoughts. Hey there, golfers. I'm Drew Mahol, the Second Swing Golf, here in the studio at Second Swing for another episode of Second Swing Thoughts, joined by co-host Sean Bauer. Fun one today. We're mixed up the viewers a little bit that are watching on YouTube. We're in different spots today. But nonetheless, we have a lot of great golf stuff to talk about today. Exciting weekend on the PGA Tour. We're also going to go through some of our favorite deals for the holiday season. We got some really, really good values in the club department for sure. And then also, with it being Thanksgiving week, we're going to talk about some of the things we're most thankful for in the realm of golf. It's both some club related, product related, but also just some other golf related items as well. So should be a good one. And I mean, starting with the tour event, it was really good this weekend.
Yeah, the RSM Classic was awesome. I mean, it came down to the very last hole, kind of everything you want in a golf tournament. Multiple guys. I think Daniel Berger and the eventual winner, Maverick McNeely, both had chances for birdie on 18. Maverick McNeely, you want to talk about a cool story, a guy who was, I think it was 2016. He was the best amateur golfer in the world, turned pro in 2017. During his amateur career, he tied Tiger Woods' Stanford record for 11 collegiate wins. And then I think there was a case of, developing the yips early on. Then he had some injury issues. And so he's never really been able to put it all together after a stellar amateur career. Finally gets it done. First career PGA Tour win with a birdie on 18. And that shot into 18 was awesome. 180-ish yards out, put it to about 5-6 feet, makes the birdie for his first career win. Pretty cool way to do it. And, shows just, the grind that some of these guys do. You might be the best player as an amateur, and then you get into the best of the best, and, it takes a while. So we'll see if, he can build off of this, because obviously he knows how to win with all those, collegiate wins. But, pretty cool win for him.
Yeah, I think it's these events in the fall season, sort of, the way it's kind of been restructured on the PGA Tour. I think it's cool for the fans that are maybe, really hardcore golf fans there that get to watch these events, and it might not be the big household names, but the golf almost means more to these guys, where it's someone like McNeely who's really looking for that first win, looking for all the perks that come with it. The exemptions on tour. I think you get a couple years and you get, XYZ into certain events. Obviously the FedEx Cup points that come with it and whatnot. But also, as we'll talk about with Joel Dahmen and others, the getting to top 125, or maybe a few events ago, getting to top 70 or top 50, like those things matter so much with what comes with it. And so to have, this golf at this point of the year, it's not going to be on national TV on CBS or NBC, but it means just as much or more to these guys than the stuff during, prime golf season does.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes, it still is what makes the PGA Tour so cool, is the fact that, these guys with, one good weekend here, one weekend there, can set themselves in position to, be playing next year, while others, maybe you're just having an off year or just getting a little unlucky. Maybe you lose your card, but the pressure and the emotions that come with that is hard to beat,
Yeah.
I know Liv has got their relegations now, which, kind of adds a little bit to there, but that's what I think is like the bread and butter of the PGA Tour is, yes, you might be, Joel Dahmen, who is, a Netflix star and was leading the U.S. Open at one point, and 2 years later, here you are fighting for your life to stay on tour for the next season. That's kind of, we'll come to Maverick McNeely's what's in the bag in a little bit, but I think Joel Dahmen, what an awesome way to do it. Makes a putt on the 36th hole to make the cut on the number. And then, Saturday, he did all right. I think he's like 3-4 under, right around there. And then Sunday, a bogey-free 7 under 64, moves himself into the top 125, keeps that tour card, and you could see the emotion and just like the stress relief that came when he, walked out of the clubhouse.
Yeah, and there's, the video of it as well on, I think, PGA Tour socials you could find that really show to him how much it means to him. It's job security, right? These guys, they kind of run their own business in a way when they're out there, and this goes for professional players on any tour, really. I mean, you're kind of running your own business. Obviously, on the PGA Tour, there's more money to be had, and the purses are larger, and it's a little bit more amplified. But that's a huge step for him, to have security for another year and opportunities then to gain even more security in the future. So it's a glimpse of it, right, where he has a little bit of notoriety, and so I think that's why I say the tour was kind of following him and his status there, because he was on the Netflix show and people started to began to love him for those reasons. But that's something that happens every year at this time, is players fighting for top 125 or top 150 or whatever that mark might be. And you could tell in that video with Damon, the emotions come out and show how much it means. And those are like pressure putts. Like, it's not just ordinary, he had a 2-putt last hole from 50 feet. That's the most stressful 2-putt of your entire year by a wide margin. So the fact that he did it was pretty cool.
What do you think would be a more stressful putt? Something like that, where you have to make it to keep your tour card, or something to win a major?
See, I think most people would go right away and say a major, but I bet if you talk to a lot of these guys that have climbed up through Q School, climbed up through the ranks, they might say they were feeling more pressure during a putt like Damon's to maintain status. Now, again, I'm not that I've had the experience myself of anything similar to that, but I bet if you talk to these players, I think they would say there's as much, if not more, pressure on this type of putt to finish 125th in the standings. It might be for whatever place he finished, I don't even know. Might be for 32nd in the tournament or something, but it might mean points-wise that he stays alive. That might be more pressure to them.
Yeah, and I hope for Full Swing, the Netflix show, I hope they kept the cameras going through this fall season, because that's a storyline right there that I don't think a lot of people, unless you're a diehard golf fan or pretty knowledgeable of the sport, I don't think people realize that these guys can lose their tour cards like that, and then they go back to square one trying to get their way back. So really cool there. We'll do just a quick look at Maverick McNeely's bag here.
Interesting one for sure.
Yeah, he's got the QI10 driver. Now it's the DOT model, which is the tour head. Not really available to the likes of us, but just kind of your standard QI. I think it's got a little lower spin options in it. Then he goes back. This is where I think the cool part of his bag is. You go into his fairway woods. He goes back a generation to Stealth 2, TaylorMade. But he plays the 3-wood, but he plays it up at 16.5 degrees, so he's playing basically a 4-wood there.
Right.
And then he has, one of the top golf trends of the year, the high lofted fairway wood. He's got a 7-wood in there, 21 degrees. So nice little blended fairway wood set, and, gives him a lot of versatility in his long game to have, a club that's going to come, from a very high peak height and, steep landing angle to one that's going to get, obviously, has more of his distance, but it's getting more height and coming down a little steeper than a traditional 3-wood. Then he goes into his TaylorMade P7 CBs, 4 through 9 iron there. Goes with 4 Vokeys, 46 in place of the pitching wedge, then 50-54. Wedge works 59 degree.
Yeah.
It's a 58L, but he bends it down a degree. And then he sticks with an Odyssey putter. He's got a Toulon design prototype. So he's kind of stuck in that Odyssey line for a while here now. And that's, typically his bread and butter is his putter. I mean, he's
been a really good putter.
Led the tour last year in strokes gained putting for the season. This year he's like 29th. I think he finished like 12th in the tournament. But the thing that's always been kind of question mark for him is his ball striking. And he was, up near the top in just about every ball striking metric this week.
I mean, that's what it takes. That's why so often you see on tour the best ball strikers are the most consistent guys that might finish top 10, top 20, top 30 most often. But to actually peak one week and have that kind of scorching hot, birdie fest week where you go 20, 25 under, it takes dropping a bunch of putts and that ball striking in combination, obviously. So that's where he obviously always puts himself in position to play well by putting the way he does. And then those weeks where he hits the ball well, he's going to be in contention. So, but yeah, cool to see him, go back a generation with the woods. Not surprising to see the 7-wood. I mean, you're going to see it more and more. There's 7 woods in play for every level golfer now. Everybody talks about the benefits of them. And so it's only going to be a trend that continues to grow.
All right, well, that wraps up the turn for this episode. time to get into our main topic. You know, the holiday season is right around the corner. Of course, it's, Black Friday this upcoming week with Thanksgiving, Cyber Monday, a lot of stuff coming up. So we're decided that we're just going to, take a look at some of the featured items on our own the Second Swing Holiday Golf Gift Guide and kind of, give some insights into each of those products.
Yeah, so there's a lot of really good items here. I think it's really good values for one. The products are you're not gonna like some of these. It's like a year, 2 year difference between for example, the Dark Speed drivers is one we're going to talk about. That's a current generation item. As of the recording of this show, we've got some items that are maybe 1 or 2 generations old, but the values can get in terms of the price now is outrageous. So that's what's so exciting about these that we're going to talk about here.
All right, well, the fall golf season is kind of closing, getting into winter golf seasons, and, it's kind of one of the best times to find some great golf deals.
Yes, it is.
So we kind of went through our own holiday gift guide, picked out a few of our favorite items, one per category of club, plus some, nice, deals under $100 here that, can be kind of a gift for anyone, or it's just something you can purchase yourself. Drew, let's start it off with, I think, starting in the driver category. Cobra Dark Speed has been, a pretty successful launch for Cobra. Obviously, a lot of speed with that. They got different models, and right now, for a current generation driver, there isn't a better deal out there than Cobra Dark Speed. It's going to have all of today's technology, but you're getting it for, if you want it brand new, I think it's right around $400. And then used, you're looking at, $287.99 and down. So
and those can be in, really good or mint condition even.
Yeah.
So, but Dark Speed drivers have been awesome. I really love the way they look this year. Dark Speed, it kind of speaks to how it looks, but they're matte black finish. They've kind of darkened the whole thing, blacked it out, but it's so simple, clean. As someone who likes a matte finish more than the glossy, kind of shiny finish, I really appreciate what Cobra did. Because in the past, they've been colorful with their drivers. They've had, that 1 year way back 10 years ago about now, they had, the multiple options where it was red, orange, blue, with like the Amstel or whatever the model was. But now it's simplified. And it's almost like, all right, you know what? We're just going to give you a good driver that works, that delivers. The Power Bridge technology inside was refined, stabilizes the whole thing. So between the 3 models that they have, options for everybody. So the Dark Speed drivers, if you're looking for something that's got, really good technology, it's going to give you 5 to 10, even more maybe years of use. That's going to keep you kind of keeping up with your playing partner, right? Playing partners, competitors. The Dark Speed models, you're going to have one that's going to fit your game.
Yeah, you have your your X model, which is kind of like it's like the main model that's going to fit the most amount of golfers. You have your Max, it's going to have most forgiveness, a little draw bias to it, to help those slicers. Then you're gonna have your LS, that low spin for players that are either really consistent ball strikers or people that just need something. They might be strike down on the ball and they need something that's going to kind of offset that high spin you're already generating. I remember seeing when you and Jake were comparing, or not even been me, honestly. We were comparing all the Cobra drivers, and that was, I think it was the LS versus, the Paradigm AI Smoke Triple Diamond, and you saw, they were getting pretty similar results compared to, one of the top drivers. I think Cobra is a little underrated of a brand.
Yeah, I think Cobra just doesn't quite get maybe the eyeballs on it that some of these other brands do, just brand power, but there's never been a question from us at Second Swing about the performance of the clubs. Dark Speed clubs, you put them in any fitting, they're going to compete with, a lot of times it comes down to a feel thing or a look thing for players in the Bay. It's never really about Cobra's performance being like, so far behind, right? Like it's not about that. So when it comes to Dark Speed, it's delivered, it's been consistent, it's been forgiving, especially with these drivers. So it's a really, really good value. You don't get this very often where you can get like mint condition or very, very, very lightly used current generation driver at this much of a, I guess, quote unquote discount or off the normal price. It's crazy.
Yeah, we'll move into the irons next. Plenty of options on the page, but a couple that stood out. They go to the Mizuno JPX 923 line. Obviously, they just came out with their 925s and the hot metals, but you go back to the 923 Tour and the 923 Forged, kind of that players and players distance iron category. They kind of have, everything you want out of, that style of an iron. They're not quite, the pro blades that, the 225s, 245s and whatnot, but very good, very clean looking irons, and they have that, Mizuno feel.
Yes, I think, well, first of all, the Mizuno feel is like a real thing. I know you hear, if you're following our channel or you're kind of a, semi-casual, semi-serious golf equipment junkie, you'll probably hear, hey, nothing feels like a Mizuno, right? But I think it's true. Like, I think there's a certain different level of pure feel with Mizuno irons than other brands. There's something about it. Obviously, their grade and flow forging process kind of is the secret behind it. But then with the JPX 923 Tour and the Forged, you've got this new V chassis. You can kind of see on the back in the cavity. There's towards the toe, it's almost V-shaped, kind of the structure of the club, which helps a lot with MOI and stability of the head, particularly on maybe if you miss it towards the toe a little bit, you're going to get a lot more stability with those shots. So the Tour, obviously, a very clean, compact, forged, body. If you're someone that's looking for that player's type iron, then the JPX 923 Forged is going to be kind of that player's distance iron that will have some distance to it, but still have that soft feel and look really good.
Yeah, and on the 923 Forged, I remember, Jake Montgomery was on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and he was kind of doing a best clubs of the year by swing type. And I remember, if you're a fast swinging player, you already have, the ability to launch the ball high just by generating club head speed.
Yeah.
But, if you need a little more forgiveness than, let's say, a player's iron, he was saying that 923 Forged is a great selection because it's a little bit lower launching of a player's distance iron. So since you already get, probably good launch and peak height just by your swing speed, it's kind of a way to, get some more consistent landing angles so you get a little more, consistent when you're going into greens. You kind of know how the ball's going to react.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
Yeah,
I remember he pointed that out, and that kind of caught my eye as someone who kind of...
Yeah, because I do think there is an influx of players that have a lot of speed or plenty of speed coming into the game and playing a lot of golf, but need to kind of control that and find an iron that fits them with a little bit of forgiveness, feels good as well, which is where this JPX 923 Forge could be a big winner for a lot of people.
Yeah. Now we're moving to fairway woods. Once again, lots of options here. You got the whole dark speed line up there, especially the LS. I know that's a Kevin Kraft favorite, so plenty of options there. But we're going to go back a few years to, believe it or not, the Titleist TSI series is now 2 generations ago. Mm-hmm. So you have GT out now, TSR, TSI. Second iteration in the Titleist Speed project. Whether you're a 2 or a 3 or even a 1, the TSI series, for being 4 or 5 years old now, is
they have 2-year cycle with their fairway woods. But with that said, the performance is awesome. You look into the bag of a lot of Titleist staffers, you're going to see a lot of TSI2, TSI3 fairway woods. That's because they perform really well. And in this model, they kind of adjusted that recoil channel on the sole of the club. It's kind of a little pocket or sleeve, so to speak, on that sole that kind of helps those low face strikes, which is, I think, especially prevalent with the TSI2. You hit that, maybe slightly low, maybe a groove or two low. And a lot of times you kind of have that, if it stings and it goes really low, doesn't go anywhere, you'll get just a little bit of help with that recoil channel on the TSI2 and TSI3. So really good options here. They've been awesome. And like I said, you're going to see a lot of players on tour still using these several years later.
Yeah, well, and speaking of clubs that are still being used by players on tour, you got the Ping Glide Forged Pro. What's his face? Austin Eckroat.
Yeah.
He still plays those in his bag, and he just won a couple weeks ago. He's won twice this year. So we're kind of switching into the wedges if you didn't catch on. But, just a clean, that's, probably 4 or 5 years old now. And, it's got, the, Hydro Pearl finish, which, can help, with that water, resistance. It's got, a little bit, shorter heel toe length than previous Ping models. They have, plenty of loft options. They have a couple grind options, with the S, kind of the widest range, little bounce, a little more relief, T grind for that player that really likes to work the wedge. So a lot of versatility in those.
Yeah, this is definitely geared a little more towards kind of the skilled player. It's because it's such a compact look, they've really, short, and like you said, that heel to toe length is pretty short, and then the options as well for bounce. There's the T grind is 6 degrees bounce for those options, and then the S grind is 10 degrees besides the 59 degree option. That sort of I-sole I2 grind, which is 8 degrees bounce, which is a unique one at 59 degrees. So it's a really fun one. And if you're a really skilled player with your wedges and you want to get creative and find a model that's going to fit kind of what you're looking for, this is a really good one to look at.
Yeah. And obviously, I mean, any of the clubs that are on this holiday gift guide, they're all pretty dang good clubs. There's a reason why we went through our entire selection, went and found, great items for a great price, especially for the holiday season. So check them out. If you have any questions, visit our website. You can talk with our online fitters about any of them. Reach out to us on social media, whatever you want, but a lot of great options. There's plenty more than even the few that we talked about. No matter your skill level, if you're a low handicap player, mid handicap, high handicap, junior golfers, women, there's options for everyone on there. So make sure to check that out. And then also be on the lookout here for some Black Friday deals and some Cyber Monday deals. They'll be coming out here soon. So that's what we like to call a tease in the news business. So keep your eyes out for that.
There we go. I love that.
So yeah, Drew, obviously a lot of great clubs there, but there's more than just clubs on that gift guide. There's, there's gifts for under $200, $100, $50, stocking stuffers, gift cards. So our challenge this week is kind of our version of second swing finds for just this is, provide me an item that kind of caught your eye that's, going for a great value.
Yeah. So, this is going to be a very good practical gift for any golfer in your life. I imagine anybody watching or listening to this is probably an avid golfer themselves. So maybe this is a gift you can give yourself. Otherwise, if you maybe already have a travel bag, you could think about another golfer in your life that doesn't have one, or you're maybe always borrowing yours for them for their trips. But the Bag Boy T460 travel bag is actually available on secondswing.com right now for under $100 for the holiday season. Travel bags are something that you maybe don't realize, or it's taken for granted for a lot of players that might travel frequently when they play golf, but there might be someone who's getting into golf and is going to go on a trip here in the next year or so that doesn't have one. This would be a great way to get them one. It's really easy, compact. It gets the job done, and you're going to have your clubs taken care of when you travel. So that's one I'm going to use. And again, it's something that you don't realize you need one as a golfer until you go on this golf trip and you're thinking, oh, I need some sort of way to get my clubs from point A to point B. Obviously airlines and whatnot, they're not necessarily careful about the way they take care of the luggage and stuff on the when you travel. So Bag Boy T460 travel bag at secondswing.com is mine.
Yeah, I got a couple golf trips next year lined up, so I might
you need a travel bag. You don't think about it until you're going. Yeah,
gonna tell my wife hey, I got something for my Christmas list.
Right,
has to do with golf. Weird. But yeah, that's a good one. Mine was, if you are a golfer that likes to walk and you prefer the traditional Sunday bag, no stand, nothing. The Ping Moonlight bags, they're the 2022 version. They're going for $50. It's a brand new golf bag. It's high quality material. It's lightweight, 4 pockets. So if you're just a true golf purist that, prefers that, style of bag and walk and all that, it's got everything for you. It weighs 2.5 pounds. It's water resistant. It has a water resistant belly, just kind of everything you want in a quick Sunday bag. And for $50, it's kind of hard to beat. So if you're looking for a good option there, that would be my find.
That's a really good find there. A walking golfer typically wants a lightweight bag. It doesn't get any better than the Moonlight. It's a really good one.
All right. Well, that's our second swing finds of the week. And then now we're going to move into a little different thing. It's Thanksgiving on Thursday. It's time of the year where you kind of reflect, look back what you're thankful for. So Drew and I kind of were thinking through some items of, what we're thankful for in 2024, but specifically related to golf. We have a few different areas we're going to hit upon. I think the first one we'll just talk about is, something that's in your bag.
Yeah.
What's a club or an item in your bag that you are thankful for?
Yeah. So I'm going to go with my Ping iCrossover 3-iron. And I actually say this knowing that I may or may not even add a 7-wood or sort of not replace it, but it'd be one of those where depending on the day, depending on the course, I might flip it out for a 7-wood next year. That's TBD. But the iCrossover, I've loved it. It's been primarily an off the tee club for me. If I need to hit a tee shot, say 250 yards, maybe it's a narrow tee shot, small landing zone, and I need to know I'm going to find this fairway. The iCrossover has been awesome. So I recommend that for anybody that's looking for a utility iron. It's got that, first of all, it's got the black finish, which is really cool, but it's compact, and you also at the same time have kind of that confidence inspiring look. And so it's a rocket. It launches the ball for you, but it gives you confidence, which I like. So that's the club I'm most thankful for this year.
Yeah, my clubs are new to the bag this year. I got fit for irons for the first time, got new irons for the first time about 20 years. Used to play Callaway X18s. I played them forever. Still have they still have a soft spot in my heart. But I got fit into some I-230s, Ping I-230s with the I-530 and the long irons there, and just the consistency I'm getting out of them. I don't, especially with the I-230s, I kind of know my distances. I know how the ball's going to fly.
Mm-hmm.
I know the spin rates. That's been probably the most impressive thing is just when I'm firing a 7-iron into a pin, like I'm getting that spin where I'm going to, be able to go at a pin if I need be, 180 yards out. I'm not, I'm more just trying to give myself a look more than anything. But the fact that I know that it's, got the opportunity to stop, it's been great. So really enjoyed those, and hoping to, upgrade maybe even my fairway woods that are really old.
Yeah, you've got some old fairway woods in the bag. I know that.
So, all right. So that's what personal item. Now we're going to look at a trending, it can be a golf club. It could just be a trend in golf, something you're thankful for there.
Yeah, so there's a couple I could go with here. I don't want to take anything that you're going to say, but I'm going to go with one apparel, and I say that because I'm wearing a golf hoodie right now. This is a FootJoy hoodie that I think is very comfortable, but I just think in general the return. I don't know if it was a return necessarily, but golf hoodies being acceptable golf attire is really cool. I think they look awesome. You've seen it over the last few years, players wearing hoodies like on PGA Tour events, LPGA Tour events, and now you can find hoodies on secondswing.com. You can find hoodies available from your favorite golf apparel brand, and put them on and wear them to the golf course, and it's acceptable. I would say not that long ago, hoodies were kind of frowned upon when it came to golf apparel. So I love that. I'm comfortable in hoodies. I like the way they look, especially some of these lightweight ones that are coming out. Big fan of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Mine's going to be a little different. Mine's going to be just a kind of a club that's trending, but it's now you're seeing a style, and we're going to go to the putters. We're going to the zero torque putters. Lab kind of was obviously the one that made a lot of noise. You saw a bunch of good players pick it up, and all of a sudden you just it looks funky, but like if this guy's I might as well give it a try. And I think I love the technology. I love the feel of it. I feel like at the end of the day, the biggest thing it does is just gives you confidence that, hey, the face is going to be square rotation. We got that. Now you just got to learn how to line the putt and get your speed. Takes a variable out of the putting, which I think every golfer can use. And for me, I believe as someone who's long been a blade putter, I think a Lab DF3 will be going into the bag next year.
I think a lot of people are in 2024 thankful for this, or will be in 2025 adding that to their list of things to be thankful for in golf, because it's a trend that's taking golf by storm, but people are realizing the benefits of it. It's crazy, what Lab has done, and now other brands are following.
Yeah, you saw Odyssey, you saw Bettinardi, PXG. I'm sure there'll be more, and there probably are some that are already out there and just not coming to the top of my mind. But definitely a trend that I'll be interested to see if it stays around and continues to evolve.
I think it will.
All right, so now the last thing is a little open-ended. You got one more item, can be anything you want, something you are thankful for in golf.
Yeah, so I was thinking about this one. I've got, I was thinking kind of the putter route. I was going to say sort of the counterbalance putters, but, that's similar to kind of what you said, so I don't want to, step on your toes too much there. What I will say is I'm thankful for, this is going to be really cheesy, by the way, I'm very thankful for the viewers and listeners of Second Swing content, Second Swing YouTube channel, those listening and watching the podcast right now. We appreciate you guys and your engagement, your comments that you leave, your subscribing to our stuff is really awesome, and we appreciate it, and it helps us a lot. So yeah, I didn't. It's cheesy and kind of sentimental, but it's true. That's what I'm thankful for.
Yeah, that was gonna be kind of mine. So it's it's all right. It's cheesy, but yeah, I mean, I'm just thankful. I've obviously hopped here on the podcast. The last few months.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun with it. I come from a news background, so this is little up my alley of just kind of producing and recording, talking, whatnot, and I'm still working on the amount of club knowledge that yourself and the fitters, but that just comes with years of experience. And
It also just comes with working at Second Swing.
yeah, no kidding. I mean, from where I was when I started a year and a half ago to where I am now, it's just incredible, and that's a testament to the company we have, the leaders we have, and obviously to the viewers and audience that ask us the questions and have are curious about a certain style. It's been really fun. So once again, thank you for tuning in, and we appreciate you.
Yeah, I mean, and also leave some comments of what you want to see on the shows as well, whether it's on a podcast or even in our YouTube. Club comparisons, club testing. Leave your comments, leave your thoughts, tell us what you want to see. But yeah, because this time of year things get ramping up, and we've got a lot of fun stuff on the way early 2025.
Yeah, well, once again, thanks again for tuning in. Hope you're all able to enjoy, a long holiday weekend with family, with friends, just something that's bringing you joy. Hope you're able to, get to do that. And, we'll be back next week with another podcast. We got a nice, intriguing guest coming on.
Yes, we do.
Just a little hint. She's a very, very good collegiate golfer.
Yes.
So stay tuned there. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. Follow us on our social media channels. And once again, have a great weekend. We'll see you back here next week.